when the copper age comes, then Ravan enters. The 5 vices come into action. And when we start operating under the influence of the vices of lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed, then we start creating sanskars of lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed. And then these sanskars, they kind of chain us. Yes, so let's say that, earlier also in Satyug and Treta Yuga, we worked, right? But when the sanskar of greed enters, then you start working for reward. Yes, and you see that in the Karam Kshetra, in the field of action, doing karma is a natural quality of the soul. So when the soul is on the Karam Kshetra, on the stage of, of action, then the soul naturally has to do karma. So you have a body, so you eat, drink, give it rest. You have a body, you earn for it, you feed it, cook for it. So all this is quite natural. But then when greed enters, then greed programs us that you go to work, or you get up in the morning, or you do anything, it's for reward. So you do it for what you get out of it. And then we start doing it because we are getting something from it. Now you see that doing something was natural, getting something was also according to the karmic law. So you get as you do. So, but then this programming of greed, it starts, that it magically enters, and then you start thinking that, I do something to get something. And then when you get it, you don't think that, you get it naturally. You think that because I did it, I got it. And then this sanskar we create. And then we carry the burden of this sanskar. Now what is the burden of this sanskar? I did so much and I got very little. Or I am doing so much but I am not getting what I expect. So these are, or I don't want to do anything, or because I don't want anything. So these are the sanskars of greed that we carry. And then why do we call why do we say this, why do we use this expression burden of sanskar? Because of the sanskar, everything that was very light and easy becomes very burdensome. Yes, and then Baba comes and says that, you see, I come and I perform my karma, and I don't even get the Satyugi kingdom in return. So doing karma is a natural, sanskar of the Supreme Soul. So Baba is the benefactor. So Baba does it naturally. So Baba says, my sanskar is your sanskar. Now you understand that you are made in my image, you are my child, and whatever is my sanskar is your sanskar. And you start understanding that doing good karma comes naturally to me. I don't have to do it to get something. And even if I get something, it's according to the law of karma. I don't have to do something to get something. doing good karma is my natural state. And then you see, you become burden free because you're doing something which is natural, and you're not, living in anticipation or expectation that, I did this and I'm waiting how much return I'll get out of it, and then keep calculating whether that return was, equal to what you had expected or not. So Baba says that just free yourself from the burden of all the wasteful sanskars that you have created. Yes, so I gave you one example, one tiny example of greed. Now let's say attachment. So you see that when we come to the copper age, then there is this magical programming that you accept, love, care, and you do something for those who belong to you. Correct? So if this is my, my mother, my father, my brother, my sister, my child, only then my spouse, only then will I extend this love, care, and belonging to them. Now you see that love and care and a sense of belonging are the natural sanskar of the soul, are they not? So in Satyug, everybody feels a sense of love and care and belonging from every other soul. And it is not dependent on whether I know you or I don't know you, or I recognize you or I don't recognize you. It's the natural quality of the soul which flows to everyone. But when we come to the copper age, this programming of attachment tells us that, this expression of love and care and belonging or acceptance is very exclusive to this group of people who you call mine. And then we start blocking our love for others and just expressing it for these 4, 5, 10, 20 people. And then you also start calculating in your head how much love and care and acceptance I have to extend to this one, because it is directly proportional to how much blood related I am to them. Yes, or by way of marriage. So apart from the blood relation, there is the by way of marriage or by way of friendship. So whatever we have calculated in the world that this relationship deserves this much. And then we carry the burden of that. Why? Because we have to do so much of calculation of how much to love and how much to withdraw. And then second thing is, we block our love for most of the others, and because of that also there is a burden of that lack of love we have for ourselves. And then Baba comes and Baba says, see, I am the ocean of love and I am your parent, and you are also the master ocean of love. And you don't have to calculate at all, or you don't have to. And then sometimes you, in the Ravan Rajya, it is very magical that you sometimes feel guilty, or you regret being loveful and being nice. So sometimes we are programmed so interestingly in the Ravan Rajya that suppose you have been nice and loving and caring to someone, and then that someone doesn't do something as you expected them to do. Yes, and then you give it many names. You say I was betrayed, or I was cheated, or somebody just duped me. So you use these expressions. But the fact is, and then when you come to that place where you interpret that event as somebody betraying you or somebody duping you, then you regret that act of love that you showed. Yes, and you say, I was so nice to this person when they visited. I even offered them water and tea, and I made them, sit down comfortably, and I asked them how they are and how the children are. And see, this person didn't deserve any of this. So you see, you carry so much burden of this programming of Ravan Rajya, and that which comes to you naturally, you also regret that action because of the programming of Ravan. But Baba says that suppose that when you realize that it is your nature, it is your quality to extend love, to extend that feeling of acceptance, belonging, and care to every soul, then you never regret it. Does Baba ever regret those children who leave Baba and go away? Does Baba say, oh, I wasted so much time, 10 years on this fellow and then he left? So Baba never says, I wasted my time, or Baba never says, I was betrayed. I was betrayed by so many from the beginning. I think, if Baba operated like us, he would have a very heavy heart, because children are doing all the time, children are doing everything according to their journey and not according to Baba's teachings. But Baba never says that I was duped and betrayed, and this person, when he came, he said, oh Baba, I found you, I'll never leave you, and now he has left. So I feel very cheated and betrayed. Baba never uses this language. So Baba says, you carry all this burden of, I did this, I have invested, and when you give somebody your time, your attention, your energy, then you look at it like an investment on which you have to get a return. Whereas, the truth is you are the child of the ocean of love, and it is your quality, it is your natural quality to be loveful. So that love is not an investment on which you wait and seek return. So that love is something that comes naturally to you. And if you just, when Baba comes, we understand how Baba operates, and we start aligning ourselves with Baba's Sanskars. And when we start doing that, then all this burden that is created because of our vicious Sanskars, that goes away. But how will that go away? First, we have to reprogram ourselves that the sanskars of Ravan that I was carrying is not my sanskar. Because, in the world, how we define ourselves is, I have this feeling of being insulted, or I feel cheated, feel betrayed, I feel hurt. So, you define yourself like that. I get very attached and then I feel hurt. So, you always say that this is my sanskar. But until and unless you don't disown that sanskar, until and unless you start speaking this language to yourself, that is not my sanskar, that is the past, and my sanskar is to extend love and care to everybody, just like Baba does. So when you pull off, you pull out your ownership, or this sense of, this is my sanskar, from all the old sanskars that we carry, because, we are always attaching this sense of this is my sanskar with every sanskar that we are carrying from the Ravan Rajya. So let's say, I say that my sanskar is I cannot get up early. So, people say that, I have seen great, people who are held in very high esteem in the world. I have heard those people also say that, for me, sleeping late and getting up late is what works. So, they say that this is very unique to me, that I sleep late and I get up late. But Baba says it's not like that. You have created that sanskar in Ravan Rajya, and then you have held yourself so closely to it. You say, this works for me, or this is my sanskar, that you start operating with it. And because that is not an accurate sanskar, that is not in alignment with your natural qualities, that is why you keep creating some karmic burden because of it. Because whenever you are away from your natural qualities, you are creating karmic burden because of your sanskars. And Baba says that your natural quality, your natural sanskar is to sleep at the right time, at 10, das to bas, and then get up at Amrit Vela and remember Baba. So Baba says, but when you start saying, no, that may work for thousands of people, but for me, this is my sanskar, then you will carry the burden of that sanskar, and that sanskar will also pull you, because you have attached this sense of my to that sanskar. Or, if you say that, I get offended very easily, so I get offended. I don't, certain words or the way people talk, it offends me. Then that is the burden of your sanskar that you carry. If you attach this sense of, this is my sanskar, then the pain, the sorrow, the karmic burden that comes from that sanskar, because it is not a natural quality of the soul to feel offended. But when you say, it is my sanskar to feel offended, maybe 100 people don't, but I feel it. So if you keep telling yourself again and again and again that, this is my sanskar, then all the pain and sorrow that sanskar brings, or all the feelings of discomfort that the sanskar brings, or the karmic burden that the sanskar brings with itself, will stay with you. And Baba says, if you want to shed off that burden, then start speaking this language to yourself first, that this is not my sanskar, that this is Ravan's sanskar, and my sanskar is Baba's sanskar. And Baba never gets offended. Yes, you see, the whole world said that Baba is Sarvavyapi, or Baba is in, Baba is in the dirtiest places. But Baba never got offended. So Baba says, it is not my sanskar to get offended, and it is neither your sanskar to get offended, and everybody is welcome to their opinion. So Baba says that just train yourself, practice enough that my sanskar is what is Baba's sanskar, and everything that I had called my sanskar is actually Ravan's property, and I detach from it by stopping the use of the language, this is my sanskar. Okay. And you see, there is another big sanskar. So we know the sanskar of lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed, fear, laziness, all these sanskars we know. But, or, jealousy, or, comparison, criticism. These are not Baba's sanskars, and these are not our sanskars, but we have created these, and then we are carrying the burden of all of that. Now there is another big sanskar, or the root sanskar from which a lot of sanskars emerge. That is the sanskar of I like this and I don't like this. We have this big sanskar of I like this, I dislike this. But that is not Baba's sanskar. Yes? Does Baba ever say, I like this and I don't like this? No, Baba says that, I like every scene of the drama. I like every child. So, I like every event. I like every second. So, Baba never uses this, Baba never has this sanskar that I like this one and dislike that one, or I like this thing or I dislike that thing. So you see that Baba loves everything in totality. Yes, and then you see we have this sanskar of, so where does it start? It starts with I like apples, I don't like mangoes, or I like blue, I don't like green. So you start saying these things, but until then also it doesn't cause a lot of problems. But then sanskars, they have this interesting method of just increasing themselves, so they don't die, they increase day by day. So then you start, I like this person and I don't like this person. And I like this situation and I don't like this situation. And people say, I don't like summers, I like winters, or I don't like rains. But then do you understand how much burden you carry of this sanskar? Because the moment you say, I don't like something, you are creating so much of chaos within yourself, and you are taking yourself to a place where you don't have good feelings, you don't have a good attitude, and all that because of this sanskar of I don't like and I like. And what is Baba's sanskar? Baba's sanskar is, it is what it is and it is great. So Baba never says that, this is good, this is bad, this is, proper, this is improper. Baba says every second is different from the other. Every soul sanskar is different from the other, and everything is accurate. So Baba uses this expression accurate. The drama is accurate, everybody's part is accurate. So Baba never uses this language, I like and I don't like. Or, this is good and this is bad, or this is loss and this is gain. So, so Baba uses, this language only for very particular things. Like Baba says that when you now become a yogi, it's for gain. And if you lose this time, if you lose the Sangam Yogi time, if you lose the Sangam Yogi resource, that's loss. So just we have to take that sanskar from Baba and change our vocabulary of gain and loss. And Baba, like and dislike, Baba never says. Baba never says that, yes, sometimes Baba says that I like yogi and jnani children. So then who do you also like? Jnani and yogi children, yes. So, when I remember, there was this one time when somebody said, even with you people, you don't treat everybody equally. So I said, who do we treat more? So he said, those children who come every day and they are very obedient, and you people also love them. So I said, God loves them also. How will I stop myself from doing that? So Baba also says, I like those children who follow Shrimat. I like those children who, who do tapasya and who are yogis, or, who are gyanis and who imbibe knowledge in their actions. So Baba says, yes, you can say that, I love, you also like those children. But Baba never says, I don't like this one. So, Baba has this, yes, this subtle preference for the other kind, but Baba never says, I don't like this other one. Baba never says, I hate these children who don't become yogis. So, that's not the language Baba speaks. So, Baba says, just, when you start reading the Murli every day, you start understanding what is Baba's sanskar. And when you start aligning your sanskar with Baba's sanskar, then you shed off the unnecessary burden that you carry because of the sanskars we bring from Ravan Rajya. So this is something. And then Baba says that if you do that, then you will transition into an angel. And an angel is very free from the burden of these old sanskars. So an angel is not pulled by an attractive body, or an angel is not pulled by, this my relatives, my work, or an angel is not pulled by anything that triggers the ego. So Baba says, then you also, you will stay detached and flying above in all the situations just like an angel. So this is all about giving your burden to Baba and taking off the burden of our old sanskars and old habits. Now there is another thing. So the Murli. So I just discussed the blessing or the Vardhan, and the Murli is, of course, the Murli has a lot of things for discussion, but we will take just one point. So the thing that Baba is underlining today is that we have to go back home and come to the pure world. Yes, so because you see, there is this things that your qualifications or your activities will be in accordance with your aim. Jaisa lakshya वैसे लक्षण. So when we come to Baba, we come with several aims, right? So some people come to gain health, some people come to gain wealth, some people come to gain, good relationships. So our relationship with God in the world has always been that of a beggar and a giver. And we come begging for something or the other to Baba. But when we come to Baba, Baba says that now you have to aim to be the instrument of giving the gift of a new world to all the souls. Yes, and Baba says that in this one birth, you have to have the aim that you want to create the sanskars and the world that will bring about the deity kingdom. So Baba says that your aim is to be Lakshmi Narayan. You are not here for any limited aim. And are you in alignment with this, all of you, that we are here to change from humans to deities, or still you have some limited aims for coming to Baba? So if you are not in alignment, then please be in alignment, because without that, this journey makes no sense. Reading the Murli and everything has to be done with that aim. Now Baba says your aim is to, so it is time to go back home, and it is time to go to the new world. and I have given you the knowledge of the drama, whether you like it, not like it, want it, no, don't want it. It is time to go back, and it is time for the new world to come. And if you make the right effort that I am teaching you, then you will go back without punishment. But even if you don't make the effort, go back you will anyway. So Baba says, chahe pyar se, chahe maar se, you have to go. So that is there. And then second thing is, if you make the right effort, you will get a good position in Satyug. If not, you will again come back when the world is sorrowful. But then come back also you have to. You cannot choose whether to come back. You have to go and you have to come back. But if you want to choose to come to a place of happiness, not when the world has descended into a sorrowful world, then make effort, right? And what is the effort? So Baba says, now you have to make the effort to become pure, right? And how do you become pure? So there is this beautiful law that the soul becomes impure by acting under the influence of vices. So how do you become impure? So the soul was pure when the soul came to the stage. And how did it become impure? When the vices entered and you started doing karma according to the dictates of the vices, or you started doing karma motivated by the vices, then those very karma, they started getting you caught up in karmic bondage. Correct? Now Baba says, how do you finish that karmic bondage, or how do you go back to purity? So not by not doing anything, because not doing anything is not a choice in this Karam Kshetra. Yes, can you not do anything? No, that's not possible. Not doing anything is also doing not doing anything, right? So Baba says that now what you do is, instead of doing karma motivated by vices, you start doing karma motivated by my directions. And that will relieve you of the karmic bondage, and that will make you pure. And what are Baba's directions? So some of the directions that Baba gives today, I will just repeat it for you. First direction is, be a trustee in the household. So have this attitude that I am a trustee, and although I live in the household, I take care of everything. Nothing is mine. I take from Baba and I take care of everything like a trustee. Second direction is, don't have love for anyone and anything in the world. Have love for only the loveliest Baba. And what is the sign of love? Remembrance. So Baba says, you live in the world, you serve those who you live with, but have love or have remembrance of only one, Baba. This is the method to be pure. Third thing Baba says is, I don't stop you from spending where you need to spend. So, food, water, clothes, education, you have to spend. But don't have any wasteful expenditure. Because whenever there is wasteful expenditure, that expenditure ties you in karmic bondage. Okay? And then Baba says that use your money to create this hospital cum school. Baba's centers are hospitals cum schools, because in Baba's centers, we learn knowledge and yoga. And Baba says, knowledge is for wealth, knowledge is the source of income, and yoga or meditation or Raj Yoga is for health. So it gives you health for 21 births. You have no disease, no untimely death if you burn your sins in Baba's remembrance in this one birth. So Baba says, contribute your wealth in creation of these and sustenance of these centers where health and wealth is given. And when you donate health and wealth, so you will get health and wealth for yourself for 21 births. So that is also, freeing you from old karmic bondage and taking you to new karma. So Baba says, do all these things and this will remove you from this position where you are heavily into karmic bondage and take you to a karmatit stage, which is pure and free from karmic burden. And if you have this aim of going back home and coming back to your kingdom, this is what you need to do. Okay, Om Shanti.